All right. Greetings, fellow grade 10s. It's Mr. Hlajari here. Welcome to Back to Basics. So what we are doing basically today, we are doing our solve for X, and we are focusing on our past paper, which is our November. I think this is our November 2018, right? So we are going to be focusing on number one, right? Or our algebra when it comes to this particular paper. Okay. Now, let's start with the first question and see in terms of what is it that is required of us in here. Now, when we start with 1.1.1, right? So here you are given that you are having 4x, then this is 4x subtract x squared, right? Or rather subtract x cubed. Now, how can we go about solving this part of the question? The first thing that we are going to do, we are going to start by looking whether do we have a common factor. And if you can look at both sides, indeed, you have a common factor, which is what? Which is x. So this is going to be x, open bracket. This is going to be what? And when you've taken out the x, you're going to be left with 4. Then 4 subtract, because here there were 3 x's, right? That the cube means there were 3 x's. So which means now you're going to be left with what? X squared. Get. And now that you're left with this particular thing, now what is going to be that? When you look at 4 and also x squared, this is going to be what? Both of these are square numbers, right? So which means basically what you're having now, it is a difference of 2 squares. So this is going to be x now, which is going to be 2, subtract x, and then it's going to be x plus what? Plus 2, right? So basically this is going to be how you are solving, or how you solve this type of a question, right? Now, so basically that is going to be your 1.1, right? Now, if we are looking at our 1.2, let's see in terms of what is it that you are going to have in there. Now, in this particular question, you are given that you are having x squared plus 15 x subtract what? Subtract 54. Now, what is it that you are going to have here? So basically, you are going to look for factors of 54 that can give you what? That can give you the middle term of what? Of 15, right? So, and since this is a trinomial, you're going to open 2 brackets. So this is going to be your first bracket and your other brackets. And the first, the factors of x squared is simply x and x, right? So the factors of 54, it's 1 and 54, right? And then it's going to be 2 and 27, if I'm not mistaken, right? And what else now? This is going to be also 3 and what? And 18. And now if you can look at 3 and 18, 3 and 18, when you add or subtract 3 and 18, somehow you are going to get your 15, right? So which means the factors that you are going to use here, therefore it's going to be 3 and also your 18. Altogether. And then now when you do so, which means now because your 15 is positive, this is going to be positive 18, and also this is going to be negative what? This is going to be negative 3. So basically this is how you are going to solve this type of a question. Now let's look at 1.1.3 and see in terms of what is it that we can do in there, right? Let's try and solve that question. Now in there, if you can look at that question, what you're given there basically, let's start here. Now we are given that you are having y subtract x, y, and then this is going to be plus what? Plus x subtract 1. Now, what is it that you're going to do here? So in this type of a question, the first thing that you're going to do here, you're going to factorize by grouping, right? So when you're factorizing by grouping, what is it that you're going to do? So you are going to firstly start by grouping these ones. Now, if you can check here, this is y subtract xy plus x subtract 1. So now what is it that you are going to have in here? So now for this one, let's say you are taking these first 2, right? Let's say you take out y as a common factor, right? So when you take out y as a common factor, what is it that you're going to have? So this is going to be y into bracket. What is left here, it's 1 subtract your x. Out again. And now, which means now, if that is going to be the case, if you come to this second part, right? So for it to have the same thing, for example, if you can do it like this, let's say you take out a negative from here. Let's say this is negative, right? if you make this to be negative, and then now remember your x here is supposed to be positive, right? So let's say you take out the negative, you are starting with the 1, so this is going to be same as your 1, right? Because negative multiplied by 1 still gives you a negative 1, right? But now here you're having a positive x, so which means this must be your negative x, so that when you multiply it back, it still gives you what? Your positive x. All right, so basically that is going to be this one. So now that you're having this, and now what else are you then going to have? So now you are going to group this. So this is same as what? Remember this negative here, it's same as -1, right? So which means now if you are grouping this now, which means you are going to have what? If you take out your 1 subtract x as a common factor, what is it that you're going to have? So it's going to be 1 subtract x, and then now you are going to be left with what? Y subtract 1, because here it's same as -1, right? Even though this 1 of ours is what? Is invisible, right? So basically this is going to be how you are solving this type of equation, right? Hopefully this makes sense to you. Now let's move swiftly along now to simplification, right? Now we are going to look at the question that require us to do what? To simplify. Now when you simplify this type of equation, what is it that you're given? So here, look, you are given that this is going to be x plus 2. This is going to be what? This is going to be x squared subtract x plus what? Plus 3, right? So what type of equation is going to be this one, right? Now, so for us to solve this type of equation, we are going to start here. So now this one we are going to simplify, and when you simplify, we are just going to apply our distribution method, right? So distribution method, which means now we are going to firstly multiply the first x with this x in here, right? So which means when we do so, this is going to be same as x cubed, right? When you take the first one with this one, right? And then when you take the second one, what is it that you're going to have? You're going to now have negative x squared. When you take the last one, right? The last one is going to give you what? Plus 3x, right? This is going to be same as plus 3x. And then now, then this is going to be same as what? This is going to be same as, now this multiplied by this is going to give you plus 2x squared. And then these two multiplied by this one is going to give you negative 2x, right? Negative 2x. And the last ones are going to give you positive 6. And now, if that is the question, or rather, if that is going to be this, and then you're going to now group your like terms, right? When you're grouping your like terms, you are going to start with your x cubed, and then the negative x squared together with what? Here we also had the squared. This was squared, right? Yes. So which means this is negative x squared plus 2x, right? 2x squared. So that is going to give you what? That is going to give you your positive x squared, right? And now from there again, what else are you going to have? If you are having this 3x subtract 2x, 3x subtract 2x again is going to give you a positive x. And then the last one, you're going to have what? Simply the 6 altogether. So basically, that is going to be your 1.1.3 altogether, or rather your 1.2.1 rather, right? So basically, this is going to be how you are solving this type of equation, right? Now, let's look at our 1.2.2 and see in terms of what is it that you're going to have there, right? Now, in this type of equation, you are given that this is 1.2.2. So the question that you are having here, you are given that you are having 5 divided by x plus your 3. This is going to be subtract 3. This is over your 2, subtract your x, right? Now, for you to solve this type of a question, this is what you're going to do firstly. Now, this is going to be your fraction. So if this is going to be a fraction, you're going to start by firstly identifying your what? Your LCD, right? So your LCD that you are having here, your LCD is going to be what? You're going to have x plus 3 and also 2 subtract x out here. So which means you're going to multiply both of these brackets with this. Now, if you start with the first one, right? Now, in the first one, when you multiply by x plus, 3 and also 2 subtract x, the x plus 3 are going to cancel each other, which means now the only part that you do not have is the 2 subtract x, which means you're going to say 5 multiplied by what? 2 subtract x. And then also in your denominator, because you already have your x plus 3, right? The only bracket that you don't have, it's the one that you multiplied in the numerator, which is 2 subtract x. Are we together? Then this is going to be that. This is going to subtract. Similarly, now the 2 subtract x you already have as part of your LCD. So the only part that you don't have, it's the x plus 3. So you're going to now multiply the 3 with the x plus 3. And similarly, the denominator, it's going to what? It's going to be x plus 3 and also 2 subtract x. Are we together? 2 subtract x. And therefore, since the denominators are the same, now you're going to write these things under one roof, right? You're going to basically write this under one roof because the denominators are the same. You're going to just write one denominator as x plus 3 and also 2 subtract x. And then now you're going to multiply here. Look, you have 5 and 2. 5 multiplied by 2 is going to give you 10. And then 5 multiplied by the x is going to be negative 5x. Similarly, now here you are having the negative. Remember, the negative is also going to be distributed here. So this is negative 3 multiplied by x, which is going to be negative 3x. And you are also having what? You are having also your negative 3 multiplied by positive 3. And that one that you are going to get there, it's going to be plus. This is going to be same as your negative 9 rather, right? So this is going to be same as your negative 9. Right? This is going to be same as your negative 9. And now that you have that, what is it that you're going to have? Let's see. Now, so from here, let's see what is it that you're going to have. We are going to group our like terms here. So when you're grouping our like terms, what is it that you're going to have? Here, the answer that you're going to have negative 5x and negative 3 is going to give you what? This is going to be negative 8x, and then 10 subtract that is going to give you what? 1, right? And then you are going to have this, and this is going to be same as your x. This is going to be same as your x. Rather, this is going to be positive 1, right? So this is going to be same as x plus your 3 and also 2 subtract your x. Are we together? So basically, this is how you're going to solve this type of equation. Hopefully, this makes sense to you now. And this is as far as this question is concerned. Now, let's move swiftly along to our 1.2.3, right? And see in terms of what is it that is required of us in there. Now, let's make up our space here. Yes. So now, in this type of a question, you are given that you are having, this is 1.2.3. You are given that you are having 25 subtract x to the power negative x, and this is going to be 15, same as x plus 1. Then you are going to divide this by what? This is going to be divided by 3 to the power of x multiplied by 5 to the power of negative x. Now, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to write these in factor form, right? So if you can start with the 25, what is 25, right? Now your 25 is similarly same as your what? It's same as your 5 squared, right? So which means this is going to be same as 5 squared into negative x, right? And then this is going to multiply by what is 15. Now 15 is simply 3 multiplied by 5. 3 multiplied by 5. And this is 3 multiplied by 5. This is going to be x plus 1. And similarly, you are dividing this by what? You are dividing this by 3 to the power of x multiplied by 5 to the power of negative x. Are we fine? And then now from here, you are going to multiply by our exponent. So this is going to be 5 to the power 2 subtract x. This is same as 5 to the power what? 2 negative 2x rather. This is going to be negative 2x, right? And then this is going to multiply by. So now here, the 3 is going to be same as 3 to the power of what? X plus 1. Similarly here, this is same as 5 to the power of what? X plus 1. Remember, when you are multiplying both of those, the 3 and the 5 are going to get the x plus 1, right? So you are still dividing your answer by what? By 3 to the power of x multiplied by what? Multiplied by 5 to the power of negative x, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. And now from here, you are going to simply group your like terms. How are you then going to group your like terms? Look, you're going to start with the 5. Remember here, you're going to apply your second law of exponent, which states that if you are dividing powers of the same base, you can subtract the exponent, right? So which means you're going to say this is going to be same as 5. Now to the power of negative 2x. Then now, because your 5, you also have your 5 in your numerator. This one, you're going to add it. Plus what? Plus x plus 1, right? You're adding the exponent. And then the denominator, it's what? It's negative x. So this is going to be minus, open brackets, negative x. Remember, we said when you are dividing the powers of the same, you are going to what? You are going to subtract the exponents. So this is going to be same as that, multiply by what is going to be the 3. The 3 is going to be same as 3 to the power of what? X plus 1. This is same as x plus 1. And then now the denominator that you are having, it's going to be minus what? Minus x. Isn't it so? Because you subtract your denominator. And now when you are continuing in this manner, what else now are we going to have? Now we are going to check. So from here, what is going to be this? This is same as this negative x and x is going to give you a positive, right? So which means you're having negative 2x, and then this is x plus x, which is going to give you positive 2x, which means the negative 2x and the x are going to cancel each other, right? And now what else are you going to be left with? You are going to only be left with 1. This is same as 5 to the power of 1 that you are left with in here, multiplied by the x. Similarly here, the x negative and positive are going to cancel each other, which means you're going to be left with 3 to the power of 1. And this is same as 5 multiplied by what? 5 multiplied by 3, which means your final answer is going to be same as 15, right? So basically, this is how you are going to solve this type of a question. Hopefully this makes sense to you. Now let's move swiftly along. Now let's look at our last question for this particular question, which is our 1.3, right? And find out in terms of what is required of us in there. Now, in this question, you are given that determine the value of 3p plus q squared if 9p squared plus q squared is given by what? Is given by 12, and p multiplied by q is going to be what? Negative 3. Let's look at this. Now, they want you to determine the value of this. So let's start by solving that and see in terms of what is it that you are going to get. So when you are saying this is your 1.3. Now, this is same as 3p plus what? Plus your q all squared, right? So now when you're doing that, what is it that you're going to have here? So you're going to open your 2 brackets. You're going to have open your 2 bracket. This is going to same as 3p plus your q. This is same as 3p plus your q, right? Remember, squared just means this is 2 brackets of the same thing. And when you're solving that, when you say 3p multiplied by 3p, you're going to get 9p squared. Then 3p multiplied by the q, it's going to be what? It's going to be 3pq, right? This is going to be plus 3pq, right? This is going to be same as plus 3pq. And this q again multiplied by the 3p is going to give you plus 3pq. And the last one, the q multiplied by q is going to give you what? Plus q squared, right? This is going to be plus q squared. And now when you're doing that, the answer that you're going to get, this is same as 9, this is same as 9p squared plus 6pq, then plus what? Plus q squared, right? And now from here, what is it that you're going to do? Look, now they gave you that 9p squared plus q squared is going to give you what? Is going to give you what? 12. So basically, if you can rearrange this, if let's say we say 9p squared plus q squared plus 6pq, basically we just rearrange this one, but it's still one and the same thing, right? The 9p squared plus q squared, they gave us that represent that this particular thing represent our 12. So which means we are going to say this is going to be same as our 12, right? Plus now the 6, and then we are given that p multiplied by q is negative 3. So which means now in the space for that, this is going to be what? It's going to be negative 3. And when you're doing that, the answer that you're going to get, this is same as 12, and then this is going to be minus what? Minus 18, because 6 multiplied by negative 3 is 18. Therefore, which means the final answer that you're going to get here is going to be same as negative 6. Okay, so now hopefully this makes sense to you, and you now understand in terms of what was required of us in here, right? So this is as far as this particular question is concerned. Thank you very much.